You have this little roadmap and it's like, this is what I'm going to do. And then when you actually get there, it's like,
wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
This is not how I imagined it, not how I planned it. And I think as an adult, the biggest thing is learning like how to roll with the punches.
Hey everybody, I'm Emma.
I'm Marissa.
And I'm Martha.
We got a guest today. So, as you guys heard, we have a guest with us. Her name is Mejia. Did I get that?
Yeah, you totally
So she's a 24-year-old holder of a Bachelor of Laws, and she is Belizean. Big up all our Belizean listeners today, okay?
Hey.
And she's a dedicated mom, and she enjoys using her skills to abstract leasing contracts for clients, and she absolutely loves blasting her music, painting, or just finding a quiet corner and reading a good book. So, hey, Martha.
Hey, you guys. Thanks for having me.
Today we're going to be talking about young adulthood, motherhood edition. So basically there's this whole mystery around adulthood that we've mentioned before in so many of our episodes. And it can even seem like some of the things that we were taught that make up adulthood were only like glazed over. They only just touched the surface of it, or they didn't even touch it at all for us. So what we want to do for you is really talk about these, glazed over parts, one of which is motherhood as a young adult. So we're so proud to have a special guest here to talk about her experience with motherhood thus far.
I'm glad that you guys honestly have this podcast, as like a way for people to understand certain issues or certain things that a lot of people don't even touch. So honestly, I'm really happy to be here and to be a part of this. Yeah.
It's always nice to feel that support and just to hear feedback from everybody too. So thank you so much, Martha.
No problem.
Could you tell us a bit about your plan for yourself as an adult? So sometimes we're young and we're like, okay, by 22, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
By 23, I'm gonna have my house. 24, 25, I'm a billionaire already. And
yeah. So before I had a baby, the plan was, to study law, and then afterwards try and get a nice job, get a home, get my car. Everything would just go smooth, and then find the love of my life and have a baby. And then, the usual thing, that's along the lines of almost everyone's plan. But then you realize it's not so easy. There's so much different things that come along with all of your plans. So yeah, that was the original plan for myself. And as you can see, it skipped a few steps. So yeah, but it's not bad. I mean, of course, life happens. Literally, not all the time. Things will happen the exact way that you want it, and sometimes it's for the best. I have absolutely no regrets, absolutely none.
I totally understand that. You have this little roadmap, and it's like, this is what I'm gonna do. And then when you actually get there, it's like,
Wait a damn minute. Wait a damn.
This is not how I imagined it, not how I planned it. And I think as an adult, the biggest thing is learning how to roll with the punches.
Exactly. Yeah, that's literally it.
Yeah. So tell us a bit what it was like when you first found out that you were pregnant.
Oh my God. So at first I didn't even know. I suspected, and then I started having morning sickness and stuff like that. And that was during the summer vacation and I was supposed to go back to school, and I was just like, I'm pretty sure I'm not. I just had like food poisoning or something, but like the terror. And then I took the test and then I found out that I was. And let's just say I freaked out because I have very strict parents.
Damn, this is some scary shit.
Very strict parents.
Oh, I am scared.
And so, I don't know, like not every parent envisions that when their kid is like studying law or even studying at all, you know, and they come and be like, oh, surprise, you're grandparents now. But it was, I honestly, I was like lucky enough that my partner, very supportive, you know, he was there every step of the way, very calm, because I'm the one that panics a lot.
You know, when you said like having strict parents, I think a lot of us like can relate to that in the Caribbean too. And then so, I think sometimes there's certain like expectations, and it's just like how we mentioned before, like you know, you envision your life a certain way. Yeah, and it's just like when Marissa said, you know, you learn to like roll the punches. For me, it really made me think about how like adulthood is all about like constantly adapting. Like,
literally
constantly adapting.
Exactly.
So wow.
Yeah,
so talk about your reaction to it and like a bit about your partner's reaction. So what about the reactions of other people who are like super close to you?
We kind of like decided we'd only tell the people that we know would be genuinely happy about that news. And so, we kind of like just kept it to ourselves. So like even during the pregnancy, like some people would kind of say like, Martha, you're gaining weight. I'd be like, oh, yeah, you know.
Bruh.
Allow food. And I was like lucky because like most of the pregnancy I really didn't show that much. So I was there taking exams and going to class, and a lot of people didn't even know. So that was kind of funny.
Got him! Got him!
But we honestly, because of how, just so that I wouldn't be stressed during the pregnancy, because you know how some people are, like, if you tell them, like, oh my God, really? Oh my God. Please.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care.
Let me tell you something.
We don't care.
We already made this decision for ourselves, and then I don't want to have to spend 9 months explaining it to people who, why should I have to explain my decision to you? So I just wanted a stress-free pregnancy and everything. So we only told the people that were closest to us.
You put up this like boundary to, you know, maintain
literally
mental health, your partner's mental health, and like, you know, the health of your baby. Sometimes in the moment we don't really see how brave that is, but that's like really awesome that you were able to do that and like put yourself first, like put your relationship first, your child.
Yeah,
that's really admirable. Because I think those things can be scary sometimes to put up boundaries, especially when, you know, we're not used to that. And when, for some reason, oh, you gain weight is a greeting now.
Yeah,
so,
like,
bruh.
Oh my goodness. I even remember there was one student after an exam. She was like, I realized you gained so much weight and whatever. She's like, you can tell me the truth. And I'm like, are you pregnant? And I was just like, what? And she's like, no, like, you could tell me. Like, I was like, girl, I haven't seen you or spoken to you in like so long. You just randomly come up to me asking this question. It's just like, and you know how weird that is? What if it was that I was actually just gaining weight? Like, for you to just jump to that conclusion. It's just, people can be a little bit insensitive about stuff like that. And so thanks for considering it brave. At the time, I honestly thought it was a little bit cowardice because it's like me not facing all of what comes with being a young mom. But at the time, it was just, I knew it was just going to be too much. Even when we broke the news, because of course, like after I had the baby, I'm not going to hide him from the world. Like, what the hell? So we like, afterwards, we're like, yay, we have a baby. Surprise. And that was insane. So much messages, so much DMs, people just like, oh, how come you didn't tell me? Oh, so it was yeah, that was quite an interesting time, but I mean, we got through it, I guess.
So how did you navigate that? Like all those persons like being like, well, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, I had to, okay, so I didn't really want to hurt some people's feelings. Like, obviously, some of them I didn't say anything because, like, it ain't your business. But for some people, I didn't say anything because it's just like, not really out of hurting their feelings or anything, or like I didn't trust them, but it's just like, I don't know, why would I just run around and say, hey, did you know I'm pregnant? Hey, did you know I'm pregnant? Hey, did you know I'm pregnant? It's just like, you'll find out when you find out. It's like, why do you need to know? You know, and the people I find that I told my best friend, she's Bahamian. Like I told her, yeah. You know, so when news broke, I knew. She was quite proud that she knew. So, it was just navigating that was like a whole other ballpark, to be honest. Some people were gracious about it. They're like, oh my gosh, I understand why you did that, girl. I probably would have done the same. But some people, I guess, didn't take it well.
So when we have boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people have like very strong reactions to them. And sometimes it's also because they don't know that they can have boundaries too. Like,
yeah.
And it's because they weren't, sometimes it's like we weren't taught that we could have boundaries. And so sometimes it makes it a little bit more difficult to respect boundaries. Exactly. Well.
I think a lot of times people feel entitled to know everything about someone, and they don't realize.
Oh my gosh.
I have to tell you everything. There's something for myself or just for my close family, etc., etc. And it's not even necessarily, because I remember you said before you felt almost like a coward at the time.
Yeah, at the time I kind of did.
We don't have to be super open book for everyone, you know?
Yeah.
I think especially with our generation and with social media, you kind of feel like you have to say certain things, or you have to talk about certain things, but really it's fine to have privacy and just share what you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's a very good way to look at it. Thank you. Thank you guys for the support.
Could you tell us a little bit about how your parents responded? Because I know you said they were strict.
Wow. Yeah. So at first, like literally, there was just one day the day I told them, when like all the panic ensued. Actually, not even one day. It was like probably like 2 hours. And I was just like, what? How? It was like, y'all really want to know how? I mean, but that was like a lot for them to just like take in. I think my dad was like in genuine shock. Like he just wasn't speaking. He was in shock. And then afterwards, they were just excited. They were the ones that they didn't even let me. I told my parents first, and I didn't even tell my siblings yet. And then they told them, and everyone was just like so excited afterwards. Like they had their panic. And then afterwards, everyone was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. And then, you know, they just went out, started shopping. They were just going crazy, honestly. So they were really, really supportive. They were really happy. Same for my partner's parents. Everybody was just super happy, which was like awesome. And I always thank God for that because, you know, not everybody has such, I don't know, not everybody has a good reaction or everybody has a good memory of telling their loved ones, you know, when they're pregnant or whatever, especially in this day and age. Like for some reason, pregnant women, I don't know, it's like, do they have leprosy or something? Everyone just kind of looks down on them, and it sucks because I feel like women can't win. You have a kid, I don't know, it's like people always tell you, if someone has a kid young, it's like, oh my gosh, how do you do that? How do you support your child? How you get through that? And then if they have a kid too old, they'd be like, oh, you're too old. You know how much complications you can have during birth. Like, why did you have a kid at a younger age? It's just like, you can't win. And if you don't have kids, it's just like, oh, you don't want kids? Oh, you probably do. You know, so it's just like, honestly, I feel like women can't really win. So, you just get used to it. All of the stereotypical things around it. And I'm thankful that I had that support and their good reaction towards it. Yeah.
I can tell you appreciate it. I know that would have made it, like, that was definitely helpful. So you were mentioning, like, how you, like, I don't feel like women can win. Like, it's like, you either do it too young, you wait too old, or you don't have kids, and now people are just trying to, like, convince you, like, you need to do this, you're going to change your mind. Instead of, like, again, respecting boundaries. And then a lot of time it's also, like, people are projecting their own fears.
Yeah.
And they're not really realizing this is what they're doing sometimes. Like, oh, I could never do this. Oh, I could never imagine. And it's like, it's not you.
Yeah, it's not you. It's not you, bro. Exactly. I completely agree with that. That happens like a lot. So, child, that's, for me, honestly, it kind of like sucks because either way, I understand if someone's situation might not be ideal for you because it's not your situation. But at the end of the day, you can't really like be criticizing people. If there's a mom that's very young, but you see that she's doing what she has to do, but you don't even know her story, you don't even know whether or not she is doing what she has to do, and you're seeing like an older mom or whatever, like, oh my gosh, but people are doing what they have to do. People are being good moms, they're taking care of their kid. It doesn't matter. Like, it really is not your life. It's insane, to be honest, how engrossed people are with other people's lives and what they do. It's exactly what you said. It's just them, their own fears that they're projecting on other people.
Okay, let's say, you know, sometimes people say things like, oh, I was just trying to help. It's just my opinion. It's your unsolicited opinion, first of all. You're not it. Have you thought about if this is actually helping? Like just randomly criticizing someone instead of randomly encouraging them. Complimenting them. Or just randomly not doing anything at all. Like, that's also welcome.
Exactly. If you don't have something good to say, just like don't say it and just keep it in your head. I don't see why what you need to say this. But yeah, I completely agree.
I mean, you talked about a lot of things thus far about like motherhood. What has it been like so far for Mejia?
Honestly, it's been awesome. Like, being a mom totally changes you. Like, at first I thought this was my story, and then I realized I'm just a chapter in his book. Like, like that's what it feels like sometimes. But a lot has changed. A lot of things that I believed in, you know, I don't know, like a lot of things, like trying to break certain things, break generational curses, just trying to discipline your kid your own way. I don't know, just trying to not go with what every single body is just like buzzing in your ear about what you should and shouldn't do as a mom, and just trying to go with your gut, what you feel is right, what you feel is healthy. And then like personally, like outside of that, it's really hard to step outside of the whole mom thing, because after a while it kind of just envelops you and you feel like, okay, is this like all I am, a mom? Because like before you just see yourself as you, and yeah, after a while it just takes over so much of your life that you wonder like, what am I outside of being a mom? So luckily, like in early I was kind of like getting too into the mom thing, and I had like even my partner, my sisters, my mom, my mother-in-law, they were all just like, you know, you always have to take time for yourself, you know, always bring yourself back for a bit, because it could kind of take over and you get really stressed, and you wouldn't want that, because if it is that at the end of the day you care about him, well, you have to take care, you can't take care of somebody if you don't take care of yourself. So yeah, that's what it's been like for me.
So what were some of the things that maybe you weren't told about pregnancy that you discovered for yourself, and you're like, okay, future moms, I want you guys to know this.
Child, girl, like a couple things, like of course, because they always like tell you, oh, everyone's pregnant is different. pregnancy is different. Every birth is different. You know, there are like a couple things that are the same, but so for sure the biggest one was breastfeeding. I never even considered that it would have been a harrowing experience.
Oh.
I thought it was this amazing, comfortable thing, baby just getting their life from you, and it's just like, girl, as I wanted to chop my boobs off, to put quite plainly. It was, oh my goodness. Because of course I wanted to breastfeed and stuff like that because, you know, you hear about all the benefits and everything. Christ, it hurt. It hurt so much, and I heard it from so many other moms. In the beginning, it hurt. Not the whole time, but it took me like 2-3 weeks to get used to it. It bleeds. There's blisters. It's quite painful, and I did not expect that at all. I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, okay, you know, but it was like far from that. So yeah, for sure, I have to say that one was something that I didn't expect. After when you give birth, I did not know the whole. I think you and I talked about it. The whole pushing on the stomach thing, bruh.
Mm-hmm.
What? Why? I just what? You know, you give birth to the baby, you give birth to the placenta. I knew about those two, but the afterbirth thing and shoving on my stomach, I thought I was gonna die. That was something else, honestly. Oh, and the shakes. Like a lot of women, right after you give birth, your body would literally be shaking on the table, and you don't understand. Like you're not freezing or anything, but your body would just be shaking a lot. And like my doctor was just telling me, oh, like yeah, like a lot of people don't understand this, but birth is literally just trauma to your body. So this is your body's response to that physical trauma. And I was just like, ja, what? But okay. I guess I'll just let it keep going on. She's like, yeah, don't worry. After a while, it'll just settle down. That was it, trembling on this table. Girl, a couple.
It just said like, but I am worrying though.
I
am worrying.
Wow, that's interesting. I never heard of that before. I've heard about the yeah, I've never heard of that.
Yeah, honestly, and a couple like I don't know, you just don't really when you see, you know, it's painful, but you know, when you see your baby, you think like, oh, it's just gonna be all worth it and stuff like that, and it is like, but as soon as they took him out of the room, then you're just aware of your body and what it just went through, and it's just like, I literally just shoved a human being out of me. Oh, what? So yeah, it definitely, even if everyone tells you every single thing, you just aren't completely prepared for it because, yeah, everyone's different. So yeah, that was a couple things I wish I knew about pregnancy and giving birth.
When I saw your post about that, like that was like one of the things to like drew me to you. It's like you were always talking about just things in general that people don't really talk about, and it's just like, in a very open, like inviting way. And I think when you talked about that, like the having to press down on you really hard after giving birth, you were like, did any of you know about this thing that happened? I'm just like, what are you talking about? So I'm like clicking like in your story, like, and then after our conversation, everything, like I must have talked to so many of my like my cousins who were like women or whatever. I'm just like, so this procedure here, tell me about it. And all of them are just like, that's so painful. Or one of them was like, oh, well, I didn't feel it because, you know, I reacted so well to the epidural and like, fine. And like, I don't even remember. But a lot of them were like, yeah, I don't really want to talk about that right now. Let's move on from that.
Yeah, that understandable, honestly. And a lot of people, even after you give birth, like as soon as the baby leaves the room, for some people, they don't even remember. I understand why. I think it's like your brain's response to just trying to shield you from what just went down in that room. So yeah, I understand why they would want to think about it, honestly.
Martha, you had mentioned something about being prepared that I thought was really interesting, because it sounds like there's so much about birth that no one tells you, but B, they might not be telling you because it was just so traumatic for them. They kind of just didn't want to rehash it. But do you feel like if you were aware, you'd like ever be ready? Like, is there anything that makes one ready for motherhood, or is it more like just a learning in progress type thing?
For sure. It definitely is a learning in progress type thing, because even, okay, like they could tell you literally everything that would happen in pregnancy, everything that would happen while you're giving birth that could happen, and everything after, and it still won't prepare you, because hearing it is one thing and experiencing it is something completely different. Yeah, for sure, you can never be completely prepared. I remember like after I had him, I had known a few things because of what I saw. My mom, she had like twins when I was like a considerable age. So I do remember how to hold a baby, how to do these things. Like nobody had to really show me that, thankfully, but it was still wild. Even giving your baby a bath for the first time, you're like holding them like they're made of glass. And it's a lot, honestly. Yeah, there's no way you could be completely prepared if you've read every single manual. Yeah, just seeing it is something completely different, for sure.
Is there anything about like loving yourself, or like think changes about your body maybe that you experience or that you want other people to know?
Yeah, that's a whole different thing too, because okay, it's like, for say I gave birth when I was 22, so I basically had this body for 21 years, and then something completely altered that, and then having to get used to this new body, it was I took a huge blow to my self-esteem, for sure. And even though I had like everybody, like it was like in my own head too, because everybody was like, oh my gosh, you look great, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I don't feel great. Y'all don't see how I really look. It's a lot to get used to be honest. The stretch marks, the weight gain, that's such an annoying thing, bruh, because afterwards everyone was like, oh my gosh, you look like even skinnier than you did before. Great. But I'm just like, why do y'all care? I understand like you're trying to make me feel good, but that whole pressure on a woman after she's given birth to lose the baby weight and stuff like that, like everyone's always on women about that, and like they would feel less than for not losing that weight, for still having it. I don't know, I think that kind of just sucks. So for sure, I took a huge blow to my self-esteem after that happened. Still trying to get there, because you know everyone's like so kind, and you always see like such supportive posts. They're like, oh, don't feel bad about your stretch marks or any scars that you have after giving birth, because you know they're like your battle scars and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, I see your point, but at the end of the day, I still feel a type of way about seeing it sometimes. But yeah, I can't even say like I'm completely there, like I'm so confident now and everything. No, for sure, no. I honestly think I have a considerable way to go before I could get to that point where I'm just, okay, this is my body. Like, not to say that I hate my body or anything, but yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was something to get used to. That was huge for me.
Yeah, but you see a lot of posts, like, especially with celebs, it's like Snapchat. I already got my Snapchat. So
and all these teas that you could drink that would make you just like lose all the weight. And I'm just like, girl, please stop it.
Just thanks for being so honest about that. Like even saying like, you know, it's still something that I'm working on or that I experienced. When we talk about things that like give us a blow to our self-esteem, I think it's easy for other people to think like, okay, like this compliment will automatically shoot up their self-esteem. And it, you know, it's helpful people be supportive. It's also an internal thing too. So because someone could be telling someone like, oh, you look great, oh, you're so beautiful, oh, you're so smart, but if you don't feel it inside, it's like you're not really, you know, it's kind of not really getting through. And then you also mentioned like all these messages, like what you see on social media, and yeah, they're meant to be supportive. It's just maybe it will be helpful to see messages that also talk about it's okay to miss not having these battle scars, or it's okay to just feel how you feel when you feel it without feeling like I have to feel some other way or else I don't love myself or else I'm just doing this whole thing wrong.
Yep. Literally exactly that, girl.
Because it adds another layer of pressure too. Like, so now there's shame for you feeling how you feel in the first place, and like the very thing that was supposed to help is actually making you feel worse.
Yeah.
So how did you even, so I know you're saying it's a journey that you're still working on, and that's awesome, you know. Rarely ever are things like, okay, this is done, don't ever have to work on that ever again. How did you improve your self-esteem, or how did you even continue on the journey? What did you do?
Like first, I had to, the first thing that was like really big for me is I had to realize that is my burden to bear. I don't know how to put it. Like, even though, like, for example, my partner, he was always just like, oh, you look great, honey. Don't worry about it. I was like, nigga, you supposed to stay there. Like, so I'm not even paying attention to you right now, but you realize that you can't depend on other people to make you feel good. Because I realized a lot of women, like, afterwards, because of course I understand the need, like, for example, a lot of people would say, you know, their partners aren't supportive, their partners don't make them feel beautiful anymore, and that is a problem. I'm not saying that partners are exempt from trying to offer that support, but I mean, outside of that, when you do have that, it's important for you yourself to work on it for yourself, like to recognize, like, okay, when I do this makes me feel beautiful. To stop being so unkind to yourself, like, because say for example you're getting dressed and it might be something that looks so great on you, like maybe this form-fitting dress or whatever, and now you're putting it on and you're seeing every lump, every extra fat that you gained, and you kind of look at yourself and then immediately in your head just take this dress off. Oh my gosh, you look so freaking horrible. But then you have to like kind of stop yourself. It's just like, please don't talk to yourself that way. Girl, like, it's okay. The reason why you have all these lumps is because you just gave freaking birth. Jesus Christ, take it easy. So, you know, you have to just be firm with yourself and just tell yourself, like, yeah, it's your body and everything. But at the end of the day, you know, you went through it, but you're still beautiful. Like, there are other things, this isn't just the only thing that determines your beauty and stuff like that. Don't put so much into it. And yeah, that's definitely what I had to do, just like to recognize that I had to work on it myself too, to not be so unkind to myself, so judgy, because we can be very judgy to ourselves. That's something we might not even realize it's just that little voice in your head, but for sure we can be very unkind to ourselves. Yeah, that's something I had to work on.
Yeah. I love that you said that, because I think especially as women, it's very easy to internalize, you know, some of the beauty standards, how we should look, how we should act, when we should do things by, and when we don't fit in with those things, it's easy to get like really hard on ourselves. So I love that you said that, you know, you kind of had to say, let me not talk to myself this way. Let me be a bit nicer. Let me have a bit compassion, you know, which is a very big thing, you know, also just recognizing like, yes, it's going to be a process and it's going to take time and I don't need to rush myself. I think that
Exactly.
I think it's really good that you were able to move through that and get to that point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think.
So Martha, I want to switch gears a bit. So like this is post pregnancy now. Your son is here. Has any of your relationships changed like since motherhood, like friends, things of that nature?
Yeah, everything changed. I'll be quite honest. Everything. Okay, familial relationships changed for sure. Totally understand my parents now. Understand everything that they told me when I was growing up. I kind of got, even though my family was like really close, I got even closer to them. My relationship with my partner definitely changed because now it's not just like about us. You know, we have like this tiny human now, and it's so funny because like our friends would just like expect like people when they come and invite you out, I can't just like jump up, get ready, and run out with you. Like a lot of things have changed. Yeah, so like with my partner, definitely now we're not like the center. We have to like realize that we're not like the center of our lives anymore. It's him. But for sure it got us closer. We're like even more not just like partners, but just like friends because we share this experience. So it's kind of funny sometimes because we have our inside jokes and stuff like that, and we call our baby a dictator because I know, because only that person would kind of understand what you're going through. And then with friends, for sure, you see, I don't like see who your real friends are or anything like that, but like for example, my best friend Diana, like when my kid was turning 3 months, 4 months, she would remember. She's like, oh, happy 4 months, happy 7 months, happy 1 year and 3 months. I'm like, girl, not even I remember that. But for sure you could see the people who are like so involved. And of course that doesn't mean like, you know, other friends who wouldn't remember those things. Like I'm not like throwing shade at them or anything like that because I understand that. Because girl, I ain't gonna remember how old your child is either. What do I look like? But I understand like a lot of things you kind of the worth that, or let me see, the importance that you placed on certain things, it just doesn't make sense anymore. A lot of your, I don't know, your ideology about a lot of things, it just changes for sure. Friendship, the way you live your life. So everything changed. I do like now even with my time, like when it comes to friends and stuff like that, you recognize just how precious your time is, and you wouldn't want to waste it on relationships that just don't make sense. Not to say that don't serve you or anything like that, but you'd want to be around people who are genuinely happy for you, people who you're genuinely happy for when they have like, you know, now like those meaningless relationships and just like these random acquaintances and stuff like that. Yes, it's okay to just be friendly with people and stuff like that, but to exert yourself and put time into things that just don't make sense, I completely stopped doing that, and I feel so much lighter, like so much lighter after doing that, because before I felt like everyone was entitled to that, to my kindness, to my time, and I would be friends with people and stuff like that, and even if they would be kind of unkind to me and it's obvious that they don't care about me, I would still give that a part of myself to them. And now, no, for sure not, and I'm glad for it.
Yeah, I mean, wow,
sounds like a pretty awesome change to me. Like life on the outside seems really good.
Yeah.
The grass is pretty green. How do you balance all of these roles that you have now? You know, mom, worker, partner.
I I'm going to be like completely honest. I have no idea. I think they all kind of overlap sometimes. Like I'd like to say like, oh, I have like this great scheme wherein like, oh, I know how to put certain boundaries and certain things and recognize, okay, this is the time for this child. No, to be honest, no, they kind of just like all overlap. Sometimes it just gets really crazy. But what I can say is that I do recognize when I do need time to just like set aside and say, okay, I need to start doing this for myself. Like before, I kind of just like dropped all my hobbies and it was just all about my baby. I just had to take care of my baby and I only wanted to be with him. And then afterwards, I was just like, okay, I think I'm going to go crazy if I just sit here staring at this child. So I had to like bring back certain things that made me happy, like reading for sure. Really love to read. So when I kind of got back into that helped. Yeah, just to recognize when you do need time to step out of that role, whatever it may be, mom, girlfriend, daughter, whatever it is, just take some time to literally step back and say, okay, what do I want to do? Not me as a daughter, not me as, even if it is just being lazy and sitting and scrolling on your phone, just do it. You really need to, and you shouldn't feel guilty about doing something that makes you happy. Once it's not hurting anybody else, but once it makes you happy and you feel like, okay, this is me. I'm happy doing this. I'm happy feeling lazy and just eating some chips and just staring at the wall. Well, then do that. That's definitely something that helps. Yeah.
My favorite thing about what you said is like, honestly, I don't know sometimes. Like, I love that. I love how like open and like honest you are, just being real. And that's what we want to normalize here, because all the other stuff just adds like guilt, shame, unrealistic expectations. Yeah. And like, it's okay to say like, I'm working on it. Like, it's different every day. Like, sometimes I'm better at it. Sometimes, you know, I think it gives a little more help. But, you know, I love that. I love that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Definitely, I agree. I think it's very easy to come off like you have it all together. So I think hearing that, you know, it's still a work in progress, still figuring it out. Because I think it's hard enough. I think Emma and I could already relate to feeling like it's a struggle to balance like work, relationships, things like that. Yeah. And then to add in parenting, I know that's a whole different. Yeah. So, girl, I totally understand just wanting to scroll on your phone. Like, deal with what I could deal with right now. And let's think about I think it makes perfect sense.
Thank you.
What else do I want to ask you? Like, I'm having such a good time on this, like, this conversation.
Same, honestly. It feels really good being able to get some of this stuff out. Damn. I mean, not to say like, you know, I don't have that opportunity, but still it's nice just talking about it.
So Martha, I know earlier you had said when you were in school, you kind of had like this whole idea of what you wanted for your life. And then you spoke about like the plan, X, Y, and Z. So I wanted to just go back to touch on like, so when you found out you were pregnant, did you think about your plan, or like how did you think the pregnancy would fit into your life at that
girl. Okay, so like when I found out I was pregnant, for sure, the first thing you think about is people's reaction to it. Like what I first thought about my parents' reactions to it, because of all that because I can't even say just me. Yes, I worked hard for it, but there's like people who put so much into it, who supported me and stuff like that. Just throwing my parents' money away if I just stopped. So I think they'd pretty much kill me. But yeah, definitely thought of my plans and thought of how it'd be possible to balance it. So I brought him to school with me.
And that's when it hit me. The best idea I ever had in my entire life. That's the worst idea you ever had in your entire life.
Oh. Girl, that was insane. what I had to do, I definitely, like, I had to take an extra year so that I could spread out my classes, because I knew that if I just took the full brunt of it while I had him, and was, it was just going to be insane. And I didn't want to take the chance, because, like, at first I told myself, oh, I definitely could do it. But I realized, no, I don't want to take the chance. And then I go fail, and then for what? So, yeah, I made the decision to still try and accomplish what I had to while having him. And that was a bit insane, because my boyfriend and I were both studying. So when we brought him with us, that was a bit wild, trying to juggle classes and taking care of him. So, yeah. But then at the end of the day, I just thought, this is what I want for myself. And just because I have a baby doesn't mean like that throws a wrench in the plans. It just means that I just have to adapt to what is that I want. And for sure, like, at the end of the day, if I accomplish what I have to accomplish, it will benefit him as well. So, yeah, just do what I had to do. And not to say that was easy. And I want to cry.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad! You keep digging!
I feel like he knows more about what's in my textbook than I do, because sometimes I would just be reading it. I would not be understanding what I'm reading. But he's just there staring at me. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you understand this more than I do, because I was so, girl, trust me, it was at first it just seemed so scary. All you feel like, okay, because you're pregnant now, all your dreams are just gonna go down the drain. It's just gonna get so hard. You're gonna have to let this go and let this go. Nah, you could. I won't say this is for everybody, because not everybody is so. I don't want to say that everybody is fortunate enough that they have a good support system. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody, not everybody, when they're like pregnant in school, could afford to continue and could juggle that. So I don't want to seem insensitive to them to say, oh, just do what you gotta do. Whenever, like, it's not the same for everybody. But yeah, whatever you can do for yourself, then I'd support that. And if you can't, then yeah, life isn't easy, and my heart goes out to you for sure. Yeah.
I love that you said that, because to keep it like 100, we do get messages about like motherhood at a young age being like a quote unquote bad thing or a negative.
Yeah.
And so I totally get that, at first it was a shock, but eventually you got to this place where it's like, this isn't gonna be, like you say, a monkey wrench in my plan. I'm still gonna try to figure it out and, still do what I want to do, but still also love my baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think even though not everyone might, like you say, be in the position, I think it's still a good message to know that being a young mother isn't like some, like your whole life is being thrown away. And you could still accomplish, you could still live your life even though you have a child. Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you'd want to say to any other young mothers out there right now who may be listening? Any piece of advice or like golden rule or just something you'd want to leave with them, if it might be something that they're going through right now?
Yeah. For sure, it's try and just block out what everyone is saying for a second. Too much, not even just like parents, but everybody in general, we're always so concerned about what people's reactions would be to things that we do. A lot, in fact, it's kind of sad. It's like most of the things that we do is in like response to the fear that we would feel. Like, we don't want to like deviate too much because we're scared of what people would think. In the smallest things, even the clothes that you decide to put on, it's so what I would say to parents, young parents who are like coming like starting to raise their kid and stuff like that, just listen to yourself for a second. Know what you want to do, what you need to do for you and your kid, and stick to it. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy. Sometimes you're literally gonna cry with your kid for sure. But at the end of the day, try your best. I won't say block it out because it's hard. It's hard to block it out. Just try your best to and listen to yourself and what is it that you really want, and try to not let what your fear of what other people would think control your life. Basically, don't let that control your life, because after a while, a few years down the road, you're just gonna be like, how the hell did I get here? This isn't what I want for myself. It'd be better that you choose what you want, and then when you get to a place, you're like, okay, I'm here because I got here on my own, not because anybody pushed me towards this direction. I chose this for myself. So yeah, for sure, that's what I'd have to say to them.
Well, you know what? Thanks so much, Martha.
Thanks, guys.
For that gem there, that was a mouthful, girl. And
yeah.
Also just for being here, sharing with us so open and honestly, just showing up as your authentic self. We really appreciate you, and we really appreciate your guests here. And for anyone who wants to, like, you know, follow up with Martha on her socials, her Instagram handle is Goddess of the Deep.